Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to our Return to Thornton Farm series. This is episode number 6, and I promise it really is episode number 6. I've checked, I've double checked, I've triple checked, and I checked one more time. So we're here at the pub because we finished up the harvest on field 11 in the previous video. We're in the same game day, but we finished that field up, and so I brought a load of produce. Mr. Thornton sold a load of produce, and so I brought that, sold it, met the boys here at the pub for lunch. We had a very nice lunch with Mr. Thornton. Smithy is in a little bit of trouble with Mr. Thornton at the moment. Um, Smithy has a problem, and there you go. There's an example of it right there as we just passed that gate for our cornfield. Smithy has a problem of leaving the gates open, and it's not that big of a problem for that cornfield, but the issue is more apparent, and we've got Smithy mowing over here in field number 7, and Abner is down working on some equipment. But the issue becomes more apparent in these fields that are closer to Stonehenge here because sometimes this car park will fill up. And when it does, then basically the people that come out here to visit, and on the weekends during the nice months where it's not too hot and it's not raining, these places fill up. The car park fills up pretty quick, and so people start looking for a place to park. And we've had to get cars towed off of this little path here, and see here's where what got Mr. Thornton's attention was this gate that he left open right here. And I just told him, I said, I'll shut it for him, and life will go on. So all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in for another episode here on our Return to Thornton Farm series. This has been just a jewel of a map to play again and to kind of rekindle the fond memories that I had back in Farm Sim 17 when I played Thornton Farm, put the series on YouTube, and we'll take this trailer up here, drop it, and then go back to the main farm, and then proceed with our chores for the day. We do have to drop that right there. We do need to bale the straw off of field number 11 and get that stored away because, as I have said in previous videos, we do not have any straw. So field number 11 is going to give us the straw that we need to get through the next few months, and then we've got a larger wheat field that we also will be harvesting and baling the straw from that uh, when we get to that point, basically. So we will just park our I think this Deutz-Fahr. I like this Deutz-Fahr, and the reason why I often have a Deutz-Fahr tractor, that model or similar to that model in my videos, is because that reminds me of Farm Sim 15. It reminds me of sort of the default equipment in Farm Sim 15. I believe that tractor was in there, and it was one of the tractors on the default map, Westbridge Hills, and just really enjoy that tractor. It's just a good old sounding tractor, um, and enjoy having it. So shut that gate there. That was not Smithy's fault. That was due to the fact that the auto drive network runs through that shed when he is carting from field number 11. So we're going to get in our trusty John Deere tractor with our Krone Big Pack baler with the arms on it. This makes really quick work out of anything that we have to do. And as I said, Smithy is up mowing, and he will probably finish up in the next 10 minutes or so, and then he'll come down and help us. Hopefully, he'll come down and help us stack the straw and get the straw picked off the field and everything, and get that put away. So we'll get rid of some of these. Get rid of some of these HUDs. Let's see. There we go. Turn this guy on. The question that I had in the previous video, in video number 5, and I started talking about a question, and I sort of said, for those of you who are a little more knowledgeable than me, and then I got sidetracked onto another tangent of a question or a thought or whatever. This stuff happens, as you get older, your brain is just going forever. But my question to those of you who are maybe a little bit more in the know than I am has to do with the F1 menu and the fact that some options have fallen off, which kind of caused a little bit of a problem, because I don't remember them always from like previous game, previous versions, or previous sessions when I play. And one of the things that I had struggled with, in trying to remember what to do, was when I was playing around with that zero turn mower and trying to figure out how to change its work mode. And I'm just wondering if anyone else has seen options fall off your menu when you're in specific vehicle types. Obviously, we don't have a work mode to necessarily change with this setup, so that option is not there. But sometimes, even when I am in a particular vehicle that does have an option or something, the option is not there. Now, I do have what I need to do is I need to take the time, because this has been a problem ever since I've been playing Farm Sim 22. I need to take the time and go in and delete all the assignments um, from my Xbox controller. I have said before that I do not like to disconnect and connect controllers, that I do not like to disconnect and connect controllers. And I use the Xbox controller for Flight Sim, not to control the aircraft, but to control the camera views. So I can kind of spin around. I can jump to an outside view, and I can use the controller to kind of, if you will, almost like it's a drone on the outside of the camera, and set up different camera views for screenshots or what have you. But I need to do that because that's why it keeps switching back and forth between the keyboard commands and the commands for the Xbox controller. But I don't think that that has necessarily a bearing on the items disappearing. But if anyone's got any thoughts on that, vaguely seem to remember that there was a mod. Either it was um, either it was Courseplay that did it, or Auto Drive, or maybe even Precision Farming. But something kind of affected that, where some of those menu items do not appear anymore, even though they should. They're supposed to. Maybe there's a limit to just how long this list can be, and I'll close it because it doesn't need to be there in our face the entire time. Anyway, hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day. If I'm sticking to my schedule correctly, that I've kind of put together, at least for this week that you are watching, I believe you will see this video on Wednesday, the previous video on Monday, and then you'll see another video, hopefully, fingers crossed, it hasn't been recorded yet, on Friday. And then that will kind of stick to a three videos per week for right now, schedule, and that way it gives you plenty of time to watch the videos. It gives me plenty of time to record the videos, edit them, get them uploaded, play the game, do the other stuff that kind of needs to be done off camera. And then that way everybody's kind of having fun. And let me just do this really quick. And of course, what I did there in that little break was to grab a thumbnail for the video. I forgot to do that in the previous video, and I, my wife was, we were needing to go and do something, and I was just running out of time. And so instead of I'd already put the header away, I'd already put the tractor and tipper away, and instead of dragging all that stuff back out here to this field to grab the screenshot, because I always like my thumbnail to represent whatever the main task is that we end up doing in the video. And so I ended up just bringing the combine out here without the header and taking a picture of it from the back. And Maybe you didn't even notice that it didn't have a header on it and that the field had already been harvested, but oh well. It was just something that I forgot to do. So let's see, in the previous video, I've already gone through all of that. I mentioned in the previous video about Simply Safe Mods. I talked about the fact that Rubber Burner Gaming hosted some mods on Simply Safe Mods. And of course, Simply Safe Mods, I closed its doors after about 3 years, maybe a little more than 3 years of operation. I ended up closing the shop, Simply Safe Mods, the website. I ended up closing it down in December of last year. And to be quite honest, the reason why I did it, it all came down to dollars and cents. I've always said that I never made a penny, even though at some point, initially, Simply Safe Mods was going to be an absolutely free, not only free to use to get mods, free to host mods for mod authors and mod creators, but also free of advertising. There was going to be no cost involved. And the whole reason for Simply Safe Mods to come into existence was the simple fact that there were a couple of sites like FSUK and PCSG that shut its doors. And a lot of modders like CCS 101, for example, he creates various placeable mods. He's an awesome map author, creator, that he was using places like this. Bullet Bill had been using like FSUK, and these sites closed, and these mod authors did not have another resource to go to. And these were, CCS 101, from kind of what I understand, just really didn't want to jump through all the bells and hoops that Giants requires of mod authors when they're putting together maps and trying to get them submitted to the Giants Mod Hub. Um, and so essentially, these sites closed, and so it left these guys without a place to host mods. So at the time, I was Discord members with CCS 101 and various sites, and he was talking about this, and I'm like, okay, well, let me throw together a website on my web server that I've had for my blog site, grizzlybearsims.com, and let me put something together and have it out there for everyone. Well, um, it started growing. The simplysafemods.com started growing. We started getting a lot of really talented mod authors that wanted to put their stuff on the site, and that was just me changing my mind as to what I was going to do with this baler and why I went around in that circle as I tried to back up and talk at the same time. So anyway, it was created, the site grew, and to be quite honest, it even outgrew the web server, the web host that I was on at the time, and ended up having to do some things. I had to change web hosts. Well, anyway, when I was laid off, I'll try to make this a bit of a long story short version for you. When I was laid off in the summer of 2020, um, I realized that at that particular point in time, that Simply Safe Mods was going to need to pay for itself as best as potentially possible, not necessarily and not create a profit for me. I did not want to profit from it. And trust me, I never did. But it needed to offset some of the additional costs, because the cost of my website, just because of the demand that Simply Safe Mods was causing on it, with the downloads and everything, was something that was costing me a lot of extra money per year, and something in the neighborhood of um, around $450 in the first couple of years of the pandemic after I was laid off. Well, this last year, when I received my bill in the October timeframe that was due in early December, the web host, or the hosting cost for the plan that I was on, that I needed to be on to be able to make sure that the site did not have any errors when it had high demand, to make sure that I wasn't getting charged anything if I went over a certain quota, all those kind of things. And first and foremost, it would deliver an an exceptional experience for you, the user who was going out to download the mods. I felt from time to time in the early days when we started growing and before I changed web hosts, um, I was embarrassed because sometimes the site would basically go offline because of demand, because of usage. And so this bill came in, and this bill was upwards of about 650, and the site visits and the number of downloads, and I think more importantly, the number of mods that was getting posted to the site had diminished significantly. And it's not because people grew dissatisfied with Simply Safe mods. It's not that at all. I think just, people have other things going on in their lives, and we had something like a year and a half of a lot of growth with FarmSim 22, and people had created mods and done things and put them out there, and they were downloaded quite regularly. But once everybody kind of got those, then no one else was creating anything. And also, there's so many other opportunities. King's mods, even though um, they do some stuff that somewhat irritates me, I won't get into it because I've harped on this subject too many times. But for the most part, King's mods does do a good job in hosting mods. And then there's so many modders host to their own Facebook pages, either using Google Drive, or there are these other websites. I think it's .io, itch.io sites or something or another that some people have been downloading to. And I think that's fantastic. And I never complained about that. Whatever someone wants to do, they can do. But anyway, long story short, and to get this story told, it just basically became a situation that it was going to cost me a fairly significant amount of money to keep the site going and to keep it out there. And so it just came down to the point that I wasn't even coming close to breaking even. For a period of time, the site was almost paying for itself, but there at the end, and I knew that the future, the direction that modders were going, or some modders were going, was on their own, doing their own thing where they have control, and that's great. That's fantastic. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is kind of the story that is that was Simply Safe Mods. But anyway, um, let's do a few shout outs here. These are some folks that have left previous comments in videos that have since released since I'm recording this episode. Obviously, it is Saturday morning. I recorded episode number 5 yesterday. That is not going to release until Monday, and then this morning, Saturday morning, I'm recording episode number 6, and you guys will see this on Wednesday. But on the episode that released on Friday, some of the comments, some of the folks posting were Jonathan Mayberry. Thanks very much, Jonathan, and I so agree with the comment that you made about games in this day and time. And if you're interested in what he said, it's a rather lengthy comment. Go to episode number 4 and take a look at that. AK, thanks again for watching the back catalog and for your comments and questions and such. Much appreciated. Big A, congratulations, Big A, to your live stream there. Big A had a huge audience for his live stream, and he was quite excited about that. And then DC Dave kind of goes back. Um, my other friend Chris, I think I met him and DC Dave around the same time. I think this was back in Farm Sim 17. I was playing Lawfolds, wonderful map for Farm Sim 17. I think one of my favorite for that version of Farm Sim. I played it, I don't know, 60 or 70 episodes on it. Went like 2 years on it, and that was also around the time that I got access to the Seasons mod, and so we're just having a whole lot of fun. And I met those two guys, and just thanks so much for watching. All right, well, we are going to unload these bells, and then we're going to get in our JCB, and I'm going to show you something neat about this bell spike that I have. And again, I say these things, and being out of the picture, kind of the way that I was for a year and a month, 13 months, something like that. I sometimes forget. I sometimes, oops, crash, as my friend Fury Machine Gaming would say, crash counter. Um, but I sometimes, forget that. Well, you guys have been playing this game for 13 months, and I have played during that time as well. I wasn't, it didn't completely collect dust, but that you guys may know about some of these things. This bell spike here, uh, let's just take a look at it. It's the lizard bell spike, and what I like about this, because bell handling is not. I like mowing, I like baling, I like even raking and tethering, but bell handling itself, stacking the bells, I don't really like it that much because I'm not that good at it. And I'm a bit of a perfectionist. But this bell spike has long forks. And because I've already purchased the long forks option, I don't have to pay for it anymore. And I can change back and forth between long forks and short forks. And I know, like I said, I know you guys have probably seen these options on some of these mods. But the great thing about it is that I can grab essentially 8 bells at a time. Now, I don't know how realistic this would be because these are pretty heavy bells, okay? Um, but it at least gives me the opportunity to do this job a little bit faster and a little bit without going crazy. It also has, you can also lock the bells down by clicking the L key. Let's see if, see, the L option is not listed there to lock the bells, as I was talking about in the beginning of the video. But anyway, let's just go ahead. Yeah, so this is 72,000 liters of straw, and like I said, I probably in the real life it'd probably be too heavy for this telehandler. But again, in keeping the bells kind of straight and in the barn and everything a little better, we'll unlock it and then we'll drop them down and then pull out and then rinse and repeat. So, I've used different, I've used various different kind of bell grabs, some of the auto loading stuff that was available back, kind of back in the day. But I have found these to be um, a very good replacement for that. And I really don't like the auto loading bell spikes because I do like for some realism to be there. And I've talked about in previous videos, not recently, but how it's a lot easier to drive like a forklift and things like that in the real world than it is to do it in the virtual world, because your perception of being able to see is a lot better in the real world than it is in the game, even if you go in cab. And so, as we're coming up on 25 minutes, I think it'll be time to wrap this episode up and tell everyone thanks for watching. And the other thing is, if you are watching my video and you are not a subscriber, please click the subscribe button. That just motivates me when I see my channel growing, and I'm not trying to be a huge YouTuber. I'm not trying to make a whole lot of money from YouTube. If YouTube, which right now my monetization is not on because I dropped below the watch hours, so it's even more important for you guys to watch my videos if you have time. But yeah, just enjoyed the motivation of seeing um, the channel grow and knowing that there's other people out there that are watching that that enjoy the content that I put out. And we'll just switch this back to short forks because that's all I need, handling the bells in the mixing wagon. And but yeah, it allows me to kind of know that things are progressing in the right direction, and we'll park our JCB. And again, thanks for watching. But if you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button, click the like button as well, and also click that little bell. Click all the little things that you're supposed to click that everybody tells you to click. Do it. You know you need to do it, and just do it. And thanks for watching. I will be back for another video. Most likely, you will see that episode number 7 on Friday. Now, what Smithy was doing was Smithy was mowing. That is going to be turned into hay, and that is going to be sold. That we sell hay bales. Used to sell straw bales. I don't know how much we'll be able to sell this year, just because we're kind of behind the 8 ball. But we had a lot of hay left over from the previous year, so we are making fresh hay, and we're going to sell those off, and that will happen probably off camera, but I might tell you about it when we come back for another video. So thanks for watching. Have a wonderful midweek, and weekend is near. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here very soon. Bye for now.